Hey everyone, what's up? It's Mikexingchen. I think most of you would agree that people nowadays are becoming more and more couch potato-y. Yeah, that's a word. Because of new inventions and developments in technology, we literally never have to leave the house or even interact with another human being. Like just the other day, I wanted to order some food and I felt like punching myself in the face because I caught myself feeling really annoyed that this particular restaurant was not on Seamless, and I actually had to call them, verbally communicate my order, and then have them deliver my dinner. I mean, God forbid, right? I actually had to talk to someone. But I called them, they were really nice, the food was delivered, it tasted delicious, everything was very pleasant. I just felt like an idiot. Anyway, it's easy to assume that all the awesome things that make our days or lives easier are recent innovations. But in actuality, many technologies we think are modern are really pretty ancient. Number 1, lenses. Glasses, telescopes, there are a lot of things that require lenses, but did you know the oldest lens was dug up in 1850 by English archaeologist Sir Austin Henry Layard at the Assyrian Palace of Nimrud in modern-day Iraq. These lenses, called the Nimrud lenses, were dated to be between 750 to 710 BC, so almost 3,000 years old. The lenses were made from rock crystal and were equivalent to a 3-time magnifying glass. There has been a lot of debates of what the lenses were actually used for. Some say it was used as a magnifying glass or a fire starter. But according to Professor Giovanni Pettinato of the University of Rome, the lenses could have been part of a telescope used by the ancient Assyrians, which would explain why they knew so much about astronomy. This was not the only discovery of ancient lenses. Others were found in a sacred cave on Mount Ida in Greece that dates back to the 5th century BC. These were much better quality and more powerful than the Nimrud lenses. Number 2, plastic surgery. If you think people only cared about their looks now, then you'd be wrong. In fact, plastic surgery is one of the oldest forms of surgery practiced, with the earliest instances documented in an ancient text from India in 2000 BC. You see, ancient Indian warriors were so tough they didn't even wear protective helmets, so of course random parts of the body such as ears, noses would often get chopped off in battle. Also, chopping off the nose was the penalty for petty crimes in India at the time, so plastic surgery, and especially nose jobs, were very much in demand at the time. But the way they did this procedure may terrify you. Surgeons in India needed skin for this operation, so they would just cut a piece off, from your forehead. This was then shaped to form the new nose. That's disturbing. I'm wondering, couldn't they just have taken the skin from a less obvious part of the body? Like, if it was me, I'd be like, instead of my forehead, can you just take it from my butt or something? Number 3, seismoscope. Earthquakes are pretty scary. In fact, they may be the most terrifying of all natural disasters because they are absolutely devastating and, for the most part, completely unpredictable. Currently, researchers are able to have a pretty good idea where an earthquake will probably happen, but they have no clue when. According to the US Geological Survey, they do know that there is a 67% chance a major earthquake will occur in the San Francisco Bay Area sometime in the next 30 years. So I'm really happy I'm moving there this week. That's so awesome, something to look forward to. I guess the one silver lining for me is I'm renting. Anyway, although we still may not be very good at predicting earthquakes, we are doing a better job at recording and measuring the seismic shocks. Yay! But did you know the technology to accomplish this was created around 2,000 years ago with the invention of the first seismoscope by Chinese philosopher, engineer, and inventor Zhang Heng in 132 AD. The device, with a diameter of 6 feet, kind of looks like a water jug. On the outside, there are 8 dragon heads which represent the directions of a compass. And below each dragon is a toad looking up at the dragon with its mouth open. Inside of each dragon's mouth is a small bronze ball. And when an earthquake happens, the ball will fall out of the dragon's mouth into the toad's mouth, indicating the general directional origin of the earthquake. The device was said to be so accurate, it has even detected an earthquake that happened 400 miles away way where the tremors were not even felt at the location of the seismoscope. What's really amazing is that when researchers replicated John's seismoscope in 2005 and actually tried using it to detect earthquakes in the area, the device provided them with data that corresponded to modern-day equipments. Number 4, batteries. We rely on batteries for everything nowadays, but what would batteries be used for 2,000 years ago? The Baghdad Battery, also known as the Parthian Battery, was discovered in 1936 during an excavation of a village near Baghdad. The village is believed to have been built during the Parthian period around 2,000 years ago. The battery is made from a clay pot with a copper cylinder inside with a stopper made of asphalt, and in the center is an iron rod. When vinegar is poured into the pot or any other electrolyte, the jar produces 1 to 2 volts of electricity, so basically each one of these is a AA battery. So again, we know it's a battery and we know how it sort of works, but the question remains, what exactly are people using batteries for 2,000 years ago? Some researchers think they were used to electroplate items, basically put one layer of metal on top of another. There are also those who believe the batteries are used in medical treatments, as electric eels were used at the time to be an anesthetic to numb pain. But I think if they dig deeper in the village, they're gonna find some remote control cars. Number 5, nanotechnology. There are a lot of uses for nanotechnology. Cobra created a warhead containing nanobots called the nanomites, which could destroy a city in hours. The Borg uses it to assimilate people, and apparently 1,600 years ago, the Romans used it to make a cup. The Lycurgus cup got its name because it depicts a scene involving King Lycurgus, and it really confused researchers ever since it was acquired in the 1950s by the British Museum, because this cup would look jade green when lit from the front, but somehow looked blood red when lit from the back. This mystery confounded researchers for decades until in 1990, when broken fragments were examined under a microscope. Researchers found that the ancient Romans actually embedded particles of gold and silver into the cup. These particles of gold and silver were grounded down to as small as 50 nanometers in diameter. That's less than 1,000th the size of a grain of salt. Basically, the Romans were pioneers in nanotechnology, and they used it in drinkware. Number 6, computers. I remember my first computer. First of all, it was massive and it was heavy because back then there was no such thing as flat screens. I remember the computer had an impressive 4 megabytes of memory. Yeah, that's right, 4 megabytes, which is just about as big as 2 or 3 high-resolution photos taken on your iPhone. The world's first known computer was much more impressive, I think. The Antikythera mechanism was discovered in a shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901. It's about the size of a shoebox and is estimated to be about 2,000 years old, with many researchers saying it could be much older than that. The device could add, multiply, divide, subtract, align the number of lunar months with years, and display where the sun and moon were in the zodiac. In a recent report, it was said the mechanism was also used to predict the future. And for more details about that, definitely check out my video on the Antikythera mechanism and the new secrets it has revealed. I'll put that in my description box. You know, I love talking about topics like this because I feel like when we think of our super ancient ancestors, we tend to think of them as fur-wearing, stone-house living dum-dums who just go around fighting each other. But our understanding of history is actually very limited. Remember, recorded history is only around 5,000 years, and even that is limited to the historical documents we have found. My point is, there is so much more we don't know about the past, and I've only mentioned 6 here, but it's amazing how many modern technologies were already being utilized by people thousands of years ago. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.